You know, when you're having an independent judiciary, and then you populate it with people who may not be committed to that independence, sometimes you're going to have a lot of problems. If you look at the structure of the Parliamentary Service Commission, it's basically 70–80% parliamentarians. Now, if you made it differently, then you begin to have, participants who are on a mission to make Parliament as weak as possible. So that if you have a Judicial Service Commission in which the executive is largely in control, then it will not be any different from the old Judicial Service Commission, which was appointed by the president. It's not that it has never been there, but I know those who want that the Judicial Commission to be changed are people who are overwhelmed by the direction towards independence that the Judicial Service Commission has taken. So I hope some of these changes may be so opportunistic, and we may kill the vision behind the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And finally, again, as a matter of addition, I think the responsibility is on the prosecution on these corruption cases. You know, when you are doing presidential elections, you go there ready. Like when we filed the presidential petition in 2017, we were ready to start the next day. But a lot of times you find in corruption cases, somebody is arrested with so much glamour and all that. And at the first appearance in court, if you ask the prosecution whether they have the witnesses, they have the statements ready, they'll say we need another 1 month or 2 months. So I think if that office was told, don't take anybody to court until you are ready to prosecute, then the job will be done. And if it is there in the law. In fact, under the Ethics and Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, those cases should not take more than 6 months. The law is already there, by the way. They are not allowed to take more than 6 months. But now most of them are running into more than a year or two. So again, it goes to the whole question about the rule of law. And the other thing that is very, very important indeed, the executive, whether it is presidential or parliamentary, tends to be overbearing. I think where people have succeeded is by demystifying the power of the executive and making sure that it is not overreaching. There was a time when there was a prime minister in Lesotho called Leboa Jonathan. He actually lost an election and he said, yes, I know I've lost, but I'm not going anywhere. You can go to court. And indeed, some people went to court and nobody succeeded. He just said, in fact, he didn't interfere with the elections. The elections were done properly and normally. And when they were announced, he said, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. So a lot of times is the behavior of the executive across the board. So I hope that in this entire approach, whether at the counties, yeah, and when I'm talking about the executive, I'm not just talking about the national. I'm also talking at the county level. That deep state that runs things even when politicians make decisions arises out of a very powerful executive. And I think that's what we should watch. We should ask ourselves the question why Parliament and the party in South Africa are able to take the executive to account and remove a president or a minister, whereas here it is a very, very difficult task. If you summon a minister to the Senate cabinet secretary, it is a big issue here. It's a big issue. But go to the United States, you cannot dare override a subpoena, except in the age of Trump. So to make institutions work is not just about the laws, but about the rule of law becoming operative, so that nobody is above the law, we're all below the law. So on that note, we hope